My understanding of anything that is happening on screen at the moment is null, maybe even in the negative levels. Araknie here, and I'll try to talk about Pulirula, an arcade game from Taito. I say try because it's one of those games that is easy to watch and to play, but you don't really know why you're anywhere, or doing anything in particular. What's the story here? So, a kid that kept the world clock from stopping gets stolen and the entire world stops. What a twist! It's up to us to chase the whatever the heck is this puppet and get it back. But once again, we cannot play as the other character unless we find another person to enjoy this with. You're stuck with this guy and his magic wand, and not getting 90% of the dialogue. It's for sure directly translated by the same developers because it doesn't feel like it even gets a first look. They got very overconfident on it, let me tell you. You'll be better off ignoring it. And the gameplay is a bit difficult to parse too. You have a wand swing and a jump. The wand swing is not truly what hits the enemies, but the power that shoots from it, so the hitboxes feel janky as hell. And also we get a magic system that's similar to Golden Axe, but with a spin on it. It will summon one of the spells you have at random, can control it like in Sega's game, as to the chaos that you already have in your normal attack. And it just gets worse from here. The levels are drawn in a weird way, with 3D mapping wireframe work and then drawn over them, but not well done like in The Simpsons arcade. Here you get all kinds of shapes making it impossible to tell where you're going sometimes. And if that wasn't enough, they throw enough weird shit at you that you could fill a book describing every single each one of them. At a certain point you get to a level that's full of FMVs of real people, and that truly put me off and also scared. I was afraid they would do something risky. I don't like FMVs aside from a few cases that you'll see in the future. But fortunately they didn't do nothing bad aside from being off-putting. After another while you'll get a level that looks like an Escher painting, and while cool it didn't really make for a clear path to follow. Sometimes I wanted to go up only to find that it was a painting. Quite disappointing. Also in the credits I see areas and enemies not present in the game. Apparently you gotta stand in certain places and attack the background in certain spots to trigger that? I don't know, seems plausible. Lots of arcade games have that stuff. Be it stages or rare enemies that go away faster than others. It's common for the era. Bosses are weird enough, but they make the most sense, since they transform back into humans and they are exaggerated versions of themselves, so you can find a theme at least going on with them, but only the final one has connections with the story or the levels that they inhabit. And if that isn't enough, when enemies die they transform into animals that you can collect if you want extra points. Sure, at this point who really cares about what my brain thinks anyway? It's a pity because I think this art style has potential, but at the time I was reminded of Pac-Land. You don't want to make any game that feels like Pac-Land, ever. It's another arcade game that wanted to be more art than anything else. It seems to me that some developers got to make arcade games only because they were the only avenues that they had. A good console title with some fleshing out of anything you need, some cutscenes with stills and text. This is what this should have been. A little intro to the levels, explain why they're weird, set the tone, it will work pretty alright. 3 screens with 3 phrases for each intro, you don't need much. It would have done the job flawlessly. As it stands, you feel like you're flicked from zone to zone and it's exhausting. Musically, the weirdness pays off since it gives it a unique feeling, a bit dreamy, pleasant to listen to. It's not anything gigantically special, but it has its place. I wish at least the boss themes had something more of a rhythm, but they're fine also like this. It's just that it's already hard to fight them with those hitboxes and your morale will drop a little bit if you get it too often. Good fighting music serves the purpose of having your back, basically sustaining you in the hardest moments, when you feel like you're cornered or that nothing's working. A melody to say to you, at least I'm here no matter how many times you die. That's fundamental. But in conclusion I gotta say that Pulirula only gets a 6 out of 10. It's not bad, but also it doesn't excel. Usually that will mean that it's a mediocre title, but in this case I couldn't really say that. Because there's too much creativity at display, even if misguided, to really create any boredom for the player. Bafflement, yes, but that's different. If you wanna see me play the games that I will review plus some extra stuff, catch me on Twitch at Araknie Retro. It's my natural habitat, you see? Until next time, ciao ciao!